Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video that I'm continuing from where we left off. The next set of projects that we want to work with, we'll try and work with 3 projects as it stands. So the first project is on pointer explanation. So pointers we've worked with before, just that we had not really explained what pointers are, and we had not really shown what we can do with our pointers. So here's how we actually work with our pointers. To start off with, we need to declare 2 variables, both int type. So the first one is p, the next one is q. And p is our pointer because we put the asterisk there, and we say p is equal to &q, whereby we want to get the address of this pointer. So we say assign address of q, right? We also need to make sure that we put an asterisk there so that we know that we are getting the assignment or the right output that we want. And then at the same time, we also want to give a value for this particular item. So we can then say our pointer is also equal to 199, and then we want to assign a value to the pointer, and then from there we want a printf. So with our printf, let's actually display the 2 items. We want to be able to display what the value of q is, and yeah, we can take it from there. If we need to add anything else, we might need to add some more code. So q is %d, like we've been doing so far, and %d gives us an integer value. So if we run it like that, we'll be able to get, okay, we're getting an error. Why are we getting an error? Did we forget to do something? Yes, we did make a mistake. Our mistake is at that point. Okay, let's run it again. Yes. So pretty much what we've just done is we had actually put the asterisk on line 7. We didn't need that asterisk. That asterisk gave us an error. So now that we have removed it, we now can get to see what the value of q is. And the value of q is 199, but we're getting 199 because we have assigned our p to be equal to our q, and our q gets whatever value is in p, and it displays that. So in other words, here's what our pointer will be doing. Our pointer will just then be giving us a reference to a value that we have, or that we have actually assigned somewhere. So what this then means now is our pointer for p gives us the exact same value as that which we have for q, and that is what we then say q is equal to 199. So that's a slightly simple example of how our pointers work. Let's get into another session of our pointers where we create another pointer and we try and play around with our variables. So pointer integer, we click on next, and then for our pointer integer we want to do the following. We want to have our variable and our integer pointer, where we'll be able to do the following. So we will leave this printf and we'll edit it a bit later. So we say int integer variable, which is iv, and then int, we put an asterisk, integer pointer, like that. Then we want to be able to initialize the 2. We then say our integer variable is equal to 2, and then we want to display what this is. Okay, so let's actually edit this one, and we say integer variable, and then we put a %d, and then outside of that we put our iv, which is our integer variable. And then at the same time, now we want to do something similar to what we did in the previous one, where we say our integer pointer is equal to ampersand integer variable, like that. And then we then want our integer pointer to be equal to 3, integer pointer to be equal to 3. And let's not forget what we did the last time. For this integer pointer, we want to be able to put an asterisk, and then we then get that to be equal to 3. And then we want to be able to display the 2. So let's just have one printf statement that gives us the option of actually displaying our integer variable and our integer pointer, like that. So in brackets, we'll then have integer variable and integer pointer, like that. So we put a %d there. We also put a %d, like that. And then when we run it, we are supposed to then get the following. Did we make a mistake somewhere? Maybe we could have. Maybe we could have, or this is exactly what we're supposed to get, because we're saying our integer variable is 2. That's fine. Our integer variable is 3, and the integer pointer is that. So that's actually not giving us okay, it's still fine, because in the pointer we actually won't have a value per se, so we can be able to work with that. So that works. Let's do one more, which can be a pointer character, so that we can see how we work with characters for our pointers. And we'll do a function, or rather 2 sets of functions, to also show us the difference between the 2 values. So in this particular project, we want to have a pointer for a character, whereby we do the following: C program pointer character, and then this then is as follows. We'll simply keep it basic. We want to have character variables, where we've got character asterisk p asterisk q, like that. And then we want to be able to state enter a valid string, like that. And then from there we want p equals gets, we open and we close brackets, we put our q, we close that, and then we have a printf, which gives us our p, so that we can display what our p is. So we want to equate our P to our Q. So a function gets pretty much gives us whatever has been entered into our Q, and then P pretty much prints whatever that string element was, or whatever that string element will be. So it tells us to enter a valid string, so we can say butternut, like that. After entering our butternut, we should then get a print. Okay, it did not give us what we are looking for. Why did it not give us that? Okay, because what it's actually just supposed to give us is it's supposed to print the string itself. I'm not sure why it then didn't print that, but the fact that it didn't give us errors, it means our code is working. But there should be a glitch somewhere in our code. I will look into that and give you corrections in the next video. Let's go to the last one, where we just want to see how we can also work with our pointers with a function. So we have a pointer function, that, and our pointer function works as follows. We want to be able to create a function that swaps numbers. So we've got void number swap, like that, and then we want to have int asterisk x and int asterisk y, like that, for our pointer values. And then we want to be able to have a temp, which is an integer, which is equal to asterisk x, and we need to have a data type int temp, and then we need to say asterisk x equals to asterisk y, and then asterisk y equals to temp, like that. So in other words, we're then saying we want to remove value for x, I spelled that wrongly. We want to remove value for y, remove value for temp. So at this particular point, we're supposed to have swapped all our numbers. So what we then need to do here is do the following. We need to also have our variables I and j, which is what we'll actually be working with at this point. We say I equals to 12 and j equals to 20, like that. So we want to be able to switch our I and our j. So we want to have a printf that states the following. This is before the function swap. So before function action, like that, we put a new line, and then we state that I equals %d and j equals %d, right? So if we've done this correctly, we then now need to put our function, which is our number swap, like that, and our number swap has to get parameters, the parameters which will be I and j, like that. But for us to then be able to swap this, we need to put the ampersand, like we learned in the last project, where we get our I and our j, which are pointers. So we're actually pointing to x and y, which will then use the number swap in that particular stage. that particular context, so to speak. So if we copy that and we paste and we paste that, so we say after function action, like that, everything else remains the same. So we can run it and see if we have done it properly. Okay, something is missing. We've got that error like we had in the previous one. Okay. Yes, we need to put I and J. I actually forgot that. I and J. So if we run it, yes, now it works. It has swapped the two functions. Let's see the previous one. Maybe we also need to have this. Let's just try doing this to the other one. We say %s, we put a new line, and then we print our p. Let's go back to that and run it and see if it will give us. Okay, enter a string, jump. Okay, it did not work, so there's clearly something amiss with this one. Okay, so we want to maybe try and change it. Let's see if we do it this way, if it will work. So we want a printf, and then we would want no, not a printf, a scanf, and then we'd want %s, and we'd want our p, our q, sorry. So let's just add a header file. Hopefully this works. String.h, like that. Let's try it that way. Okay, enter valid string. Enter valid string. Okay, this one is still giving problems. I will work on this particular project and maybe give you answers in the next video, or in a video that supports this one. So as at now, I will end the lecture. Okay guys, I've decided to do it this way. I'm just going to change this entire code, whereby we'll still get the same output, but I'm changing this one. So here's how it's going. I'm going to add this to the video, so the video is going to be slightly longer. And here's how we'll do it. We'll turn each of the pointers into an array, like that. And then instead of entering anything, we're going to change all of this. And then we do it as follows. We want to be able to have a value for q. So we say q in brackets 10, which is our array size. And our array size should then give us what we want. So in other words, we want to make this a string, so we can actually equate this to a string and have our word like that. And then we would then want to have our p being equal to our q, not forgetting that it's an array, so we need to put the values for the array as they are. And we can then be able to display the contents of our variable, which is p in brackets 10. I think that should work. If not, we'll just change it a bit. Okay, it works. So in other words, here's just what we have done. We've literally reassigned what our code was supposed to do. I'm not sure what happened with gets, but we reassigned what our code was supposed to do. And now what it's pretty much doing now is we've got 2 pointers, which is P and Q, both arrays of size 10. And then we then say our Q is equal to downloader. And then our P10 is equal to our Q10. And then when we print F our P10, we just get the full word, which is downloader, which is what we would have put in the array. So basically, this is how it works. And we can add more to this even as we go along. Okay, so that ends this lesson.